Had my first race on it this past weekend. In the past, like, or what was the first one in the past, like 18 months or something like that. A little bit rough. Check it out in the other videos here. Local hair scramble track race there a bunch of times, and I just flat out botched how I rode. But whatever. What are you gonna do? I got a bunch of prep to finally do on the bike here. We've got mousses going in. I got some Nitro Mousses, the standard pressure, because, well, you low pressure guys can suck it. I ain't buying it. Okay, maybe I would, but not buying it. Especially not with these. I've run these at lower pressures and I hate it. This squirms too much when you push it in the turns. Not my gig, but so we got that to put in. And then I got a new rear tire on here. The front is still nice and peachy despite a little bit of time on it. The rear has seen a little bit more abuse, so I got a new one of those, and I'm putting all this in because at the end of July up in the UP Sandstormers are putting on a race called the Mad Moose Hard Enduro. They stopped it for the past 2 years, but they finally brought it back. It got delayed. It was supposed to be originally earlier up in May, but I first heard about it like back in 2016, didn't really know anything about it. Once I found out about it, really wanted to do it because it's an area where we ride a lot when we go up to the UP, and I just love the terrain there. It's a very unexpected type of terrain that they push you on. We wound up on their course back in 2017 when we were up there for a weekend ride when they were pre-marking it, and well, suffice to say, they're not joking when it's a hard enduro course, and we of course ended up on it, and it started downpouring. So luckily I was on my old 350 at the time and not my Chingading special, and so this stuff was a little more tolerable. But yeah, so I want to get this thing ready. I've got the full wraps on here. I got some different levers for it because I bent up all the stock ones, and then I think that's, oh no, that's not it. We also have, finally for the first time in my life, probably not the first, maybe, I don't know. We got new springs for the bike. Basically sitting without gear, I'm hovering at 180 pounds, which is borderline with the stock springs for the bike. So I am going to put in 4.6 springs for the front, and then the 66 or whatever it is for the rear. So hopefully get myself all set up nice and well there, get a little more balanced when I'm riding it and trying to push things a little bit. And then the other thing, at the hair scramble, I found basically in 40 minutes in or something like that, I don't know if I caught a stick, which you can kind of see up in here. There's the intake air temperature sensor up in there. Well, sure enough, I'm riding, I see the stinking check engine light going on, so I started freaking out because I'm in a race and I'm going, do I risk blowing up a $10,000 dirt bike, or do I just keep going and hammering it on? And I kind of just figured, well, it's not doing anything funny, it's not sounding funny, it's running really well still, and so I just put a new air filter in it. I probably over-oiled it, so I'm like, oh, I probably just, you know, over-oiled that, and something was causing it to go goofy there. So I kept riding, didn't see it blowing any smoke, no nothing like that. So rode the rest of the race, and then when I got home I looked up the code on it, and it was for the intake air temperature sensor. So when I took a peek under there, I just saw that a stick had wedged itself in and basically pulled the wires out of the connector. Nothing major, got it fixed up. What I'm gonna do though is, here, I don't know if I can flip this around mid-video. Nope. So all these wires here, I am gonna go ahead and kind of tuck this up so that that can't happen again. Freak thing, because a few weeks ago in the UP, I dropped this and dragged it through piles of trees. Nothing ever happened, so crap happens. Pretty thankful though that it ran as well as it did without that on there. I mean, it still kept ripping. So good machines, these KTM 350s. So I am gonna hop to it here because it is 7:30ish, and I haven't done mousses before, so I could be here a while. And then I'm also going to do a little handlebar wrap tip that I saw from Brad Freeman, I think is his name, enduro racer who just flies in the trees, about using a little inner tube and a little pull strap up on your handlebars so you can keep like a little gel wrap or gel energy gel, something like that, quick access. And it's kind of something I did a few years back with just zip ties, but I like his trick with basically using an old inner tube and letting things go. So I'm gonna hop to it. I don't think I'll have much video unless I pop in midway here, but as things crop up and go, I will let you know. So we'll be back. Boo! Hey, this is Andrew with SpackleBucket Moto, and I am back. I just got done with putting the mousses on the bike, as well as putting in the new springs for fork and shock. Can't really see in there. Let's see if we can sneak a peek in there. Oh, look at that. Ooh, suspension. Yeah. Nothing really seeing the forks because they're, well, they're in the forks. But here's the stock ones. They're not labeled with anything, which is kind of annoying, but you can see the diameter of the spring looks a little different. So that should feel a little better. And then at least the rear spring, they've got it labeled on there. WP, this one's a 62, 66, 69, and I was up one with the 66, 69, 72 or something like that. Whatever their progressive wind is on it. So mousses actually went in pretty easily. I've done something similar called flat tire defender a long time ago, and those are pretty simple. But hadn't done any moose style inserts since then. So the old little new techs over there, not too bad. The one thing I did notice is, I mean, if you feel the rear, so this is a brand new Pirelli MT16. I mean, it still feels really stiff, which good. But so the front probably has, I don't know, a decent amount of riding on it. And the one thing I noticed is this definitely feels a lot more soft in here. Squish it, I don't know if you can see that, but it's, I mean, to me, I mean, that looks more like, I don't know, 8 psi? 6? I don't know. I guess we'll see. And it's the front race I got coming up isn't super high speed, so shouldn't be too much of an issue, and I imagine the rear, you know, it should be fine. But it feels a little softer than I was expecting. I don't know if that's because the tire maybe expanded a little bit with being used and all that stuff. So I guess we'll see what we get. I mean, it's still packed out in there, but yeah, a little looser than I was expecting. And then we got our wiring kind of zipped up a little bit in there. Not the greatest, but there's not really a ton of place to do it. The way they ran the intake air temperature sensor is on the bottom of the air intake, and it's pointing straight down. So it's pointing straight at the cases here like this. It's a shame they didn't like rotate it 90 degrees so it's pointing forward, and then the wiring could route nice and up. But who knows? I'm sure there was a reason. Obviously they couldn't have went in from this side, which I don't know if I can really get it to show in there, but the way the shock kind of runs in there, you wouldn't be able to make that work. So preload should be set on this per what the manual says, so I might have to tweak that a little bit. But I think all in all, we're about ready to ride. I have, well, one other thing here that I have installed already that was on here from a little while ago. This is a Motion Pro coolant reservoir. I was going to buy the KTM one that actually fits up inside the frame, which you can see. So the KTM one fits up inside the frame here, but Rocky Mountain didn't have that in stock, and the other place I saw had like $20 shipping for a $35 item I wasn't going to pay. So this was like 22 bucks, and so far seems to do the trick. Tucks out of the way, doesn't interfere with the fender, and it was nice and available. So that's routed in. And then I have one other thing that I've got to do, or want to do at some point, is this Mamma Jamma. So if you got a KTM 350 or 250, I'm sure you've maybe Googled online and seen or heard about people having the oil pump idler gear failure. And basically what people are saying as I open this up here. So here's the gear And this basically sits behind the clutch basket, and the inner goes between that and I want to say the oil pump, somewhere in there. And what people, or I think there's 2 or maybe 3 people online who have noted that there's basically potato chip, so it went from being flat, which I guess my finger's not flat there, but which you can't really straighten it out, but it went from being flat to being potato chip like that. There is a new part number for it, which, alright, so on this one it reads PA66GF30, so it's a 6.6 nylon with 30% glass fill in there. And the other ones that people have removed do not have the glass fill in them. If I remember correctly, I'll double check what mine shows when I get it out, but basically people have had that get potato chip wedged in there, lose oil pressure, bam, goes your engine. Now, this is on the, I think, 2017 to 2019 250s and 350s, something like that. With 3 reported cases or whatever on the internet, that tells me that it's not exactly a widespread issue, or most likely some sort of assembly error, or Lord knows whatever else, freak accident. There's a bazillion of these bikes out there. So numbers wise, it's pretty low, but new gear is like 20 bucks online, and then I've got a couple of little circlips in there just in case I bork the one that's inside there at 5 cents a piece. I figured I have a couple of them, so that's on my list, but I've held off on that because, well, A, the bike's running right, and I kind of subscribe to if it's not a problem, don't screw with it. And well, you got to pull the side cover here. This has got to come off, and I was going to do it last weekend, but I had my race and was like, you know what, if it blows up in the race, it blows up in the race, but didn't really think that was going to happen, so I just ran it as is. So there she is, that's coming off, that'll go in. You got to pull the clutch basket, primary gear, and all that crap. So longer process I want to do. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes in here. This is a rough time of year. I have a tiny crappy fan over there that's not working. So I am going to go get myself inside and cleaned up here. 350 is basically ready. Oh, and the one thing here. So this here, I don't know if I did it exactly right. I'm going to have to watch the Freeman's YouTube video again here, but that's on there. I can slip something in there, quick access, and I can be rocking and rolling and eating something while I'm riding, I guess. So that's about it. I am going to try to get these bugs off me because they're going bonkers. But yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna get a test ride on this, see how she feels, and then a couple of weeks I will be racing again. So I am Andrew from SpackleBucket Moto. That's the Chariot, and we'll catch you later. Peace.